Hello everyone, my name's River and my preferred name is River, but you guys can also call me Sam. I am excited to join Wyzant as a first time tutor, and I hold 7 years of tutoring experience, both remote and in person. My preferred method of teaching right now would be remotely at a standard rate of $30 an hour, but I can also teach in person at the Essex Library branch um, for $42 an hour. And if you guys live out in the city, I would charge an extra $20 fee for the transit, as the wait time can range anywhere from 45 minutes to going back home, and all would be about 3 hours. Um, but yeah, that's my rates. And there's also an instant booking feature. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but this is basically gonna allow the students or parents to claim a time on my schedule. But if you guys need a time that's not on my schedule, I'd be very open to accommodating as well. I am very open to teaching from all different backgrounds and unique abilities for students that are either non neurodivergent or neurodivergent. And like I said before, I hold 7 years of tutoring experience. So from 2019 to 2022, I taught private in person tutoring lessons to K through 8. I taught elementary math. I also taught middle school pre-algebra, and I've also taught just regular algebra. And I'm sorry, I just froze. Oh God, that is funny. Okay. um, yeah, and then from 2022 to 2023, I taught in person tutoring for students at the Los Angeles Public Library back in my home state, California. And I assisted K through 5 with English and math. So I've have some experience under my belt for especially for math in those subjects. And I can also help students with their reading. I encompass a lot of techniques, but for remote learning students, I would use interactive websites like Scribble, which is this website where students can sketch and play kind of like a guessing game. So we can incorporate that with whatever lessons they are learning, or subject they're learning. And I also incorporate gamified rewards. We can play Kahoot, and what I've done before from 2023 to 2025, I was on a Learn to Be platform. So I provided remote students that were neurodivergent with stickers. I can do that again and just provide some sort of reward to engage the student. We can also do a fun activity after too. I would love to maybe draw with a student. And since I also took digital media production last semester, I've learned a good amount of, Adobe Premiere Pro. Maybe I don't know if I one day encompass like the program again, I can tutor in that subject, and I can, at the moment, I would feel more comfortable with drawing and incorporating drawing to my teaching method as well. My methods of teaching are very different according to wherever the student's initial baseline is, and also what they prefer. So I would offer the options, but if they can't decide one, I'd be happy to just choose one for them. There's active recall, so that's where the student has to be able to remember what they learned of the topic and without looking at their notes. So they would read something, whether that's a science subject in physical geography, for example. That's something I would be comfortable to use in this example because I studied environmental science. I have read over text, and I had to be able to explain it to myself or explain it to someone I know. So that's kind of what I would do to test the student. So they would have to either highlight their text or reread their notes, and then I would tell them, okay, close the book and then try to explain it to me. So that's active recall, but then there's also blurting, which is my favorite method. It's where a student can read out loud whatever they're learning, whether that's formulas or equations for algebra or pre-algebra, elementary math. And we can look over it together on the whiteboard, right? The digital whiteboard. But if we're doing an in-person tutoring session, oh, this has something. We would use a physical whiteboard. So I have this little physical whiteboard here, and I would just, we would have like a formula or something like, well, in this case, I'm gonna just use the adding. I am so sorry, students, parents. The lesson's actually called adding with tens digit blocks. See. And you'll see what I mean when I, show you. Yeah, so I'd be like, what do you see here? Or we would go deeper into the lesson, but I have to keep this short for the video. But I would kind of, draw this out. Cut this in half, right? Cut this in half. Cut this into 5 rectangles, cut this bottom into 5 rectangles, and I would be like, okay, how many do you see here? And we would count them. We would do like a dot, 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 dot. I also have different colored markers, so if you guys need color-coded colors, we can use that as well for the students who need more of a visual experience. And yeah, this is a tens block, right? So that means this right here is just 10. That means this one here is also just 10. This is also 10. And here's the ones. So these are alone. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 ones. And we have 3 tens. So that is, so yeah, we would just kind of explain, okay, this 3 tens just means 30 because you're adding 10 plus 10 plus 10. 10 plus 10 plus 10. That's 0 because it's nothing there. 1 plus 1 plus 1. That's 3 fingers. So that's 30. And then we just add 30 plus 5. And 30, because this is 2 digits, this will always be our tens because that's the rule. This will always be our ones. 0 plus 5, this 0 is nothing, so it just goes down, that's 5. 3 goes down here, that's 3. That's 35. And then after that's done, we repeat everything out loud. And then we would close this. And they would have to try to ask the student down, to explain the example, or remember what we just discussed, and put it on the whiteboard. So yeah, that would be the methods that I teach. And like I said, we can also use Scribble. So Scribble would be a great method, I think, for the learning. We can also, discuss more methods if the student needs a different approach. The Kahoot is also great too for just kind of active recall. And I can provide just one last thing. So I think, yeah, we can use this whiteboard here. So I'm just trying to find something short. This is 2nd grade math. So we're just gonna do the text here. And I'm pretty sure once, if the student wants to do a in-person or whether it's remote, I hope I already said this, but remote was my preference. But like I said, I'm still open to the other 2 methods I provided. So the place value blocks lesson we have here. Eight plus 6. I think we have something neater to use, but I don't think it's here. So, oh yeah, it is here. Okay, so use this little thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm so sorry. These 2 are really big. So that's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we would do here is we want to figure out what this 8 plus 6 is, right? So here's 8, here's 6. A way that we can do this is by doing a method of taking. So we would take 2. We take 2 because we want to make the 8 into a block of 10. So remember how we discussed earlier about this block here? That's called a tens block. In other words, that's also 10. Because again, think of this as a big guy. They have many friends. Yeah, remember we did this earlier, but on my whiteboard it looked different. Yeah, this person has many friends, right? Or go with them to lunch together every day. So we want to make the 8 into like one of these guys. So we need to take 2 from let me go back. We need to take 2 from here, put them over here. We need to take 2 from the 6 because, yeah, like I said, we have to make that become a 10. So now this 10 that we have here, this is what we created. So we're going to make sure that we can, yeah, so now we have a tens block. So that's called a tens block. And if you guys don't like my typing feature, we can always use the little drawing tool. So in other words, that is just 10. So I'm very sorry that the OBS made my screen freeze again. The next steps were that the 10 on the left, right? It's this tens block, and the 10. So because we have 10, right? Because of that 10 block on the left, then you look at the 6 little squares on the right. That's the 6, but we actually had to take 2 of those, and essentially what that means is 6 minus 2. So what's left on the right is 4 little squares. So we call those guys the ones place, remember? And there's 4 ones there. There's 4 squares. So after that, what we want to do is we want to add that tens block, and we add the 4 squares on the right, which is the 4 ones. The answer is 14. I really look forward to tutoring students, helping them build their confidence, and I will make sure that we don't give up, because I know learning can be frustrating, it can be scary, it can make you feel like you just aren't getting it, right? But the truth is, learning has to feel fun for students to enjoy it. And also, learning math, especially, once I learned that it was more of a creative artistic thing, and I learned that math really is the fundamental of something that explains why, for example, aliens, right? They speak and we hear like gibberish, but the language they're speaking is still something that only understood because that's their own language. And math is kind of the same way. We use math every day to count, to go to the store, right? When we want to buy something, we have to learn how to be comfortable with new things. And I think that as long as you believe in yourself, I will always believe in the student. But the student also has to, want to believe in themselves. And I know it can be hard, but we got this. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Can't wait to see you guys soon.